Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Empower Yourself with MLG podcast. If you're new here, welcome. I'm your host, Mandy, and I'm here for you every Tuesday to help you live an empowered life. In episode 22, I told you the 3 feet from gold story, and the message was to not give up because you don't know how close you are to reaching your goal. Now in there, I quickly mentioned a mental tool that you can use to help you push through in times where you feel like giving up. And I really want to expand on that in this episode because it's so impactful and so simple, and I use it so often in my most challenging and darkest hours. And when I say quitting, I'm not only talking about giving up on your dream or a great goal. Sometimes in life we don't have the luxury of quitting. So we have to keep going. Maybe someone is depending on us, or maybe we just needed to survive. For example, a job that you really hate and that is draining your soul, but you have to keep at it because you won't survive from an economic point of view. Or just from a mental perspective where you feel you won't be able to live with yourself anymore if you gave up again. So let's get right into it and chat about how you can make this point or this situation that you are in more survivable for you. Let's get into it. It's very interesting when you really think about what is actually causing most of the drama and exhaustion in our lives. So when we are in an actual difficult situation, we usually go into survival mode, we do what needs to be done, and once it's done, it's over. There's nothing to do anymore and there's nothing to think about anymore. What takes up a lot more space and energy in our minds are the thoughts around everything we still have to do, or the despair of the painful path that's still ahead, or our worries and fears of the future. This quote by Corrie that one sums it up perfectly. Worrying is carrying tomorrow's load with today's strength. So carrying 2 days at once. It is moving into tomorrow ahead of time. Worrying does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow, it empties today of its strength. Remember, your brain does not really know and experience the difference between imagination and reality. So if you're imagining the long and difficult road ahead, your brain goes, hell no, we're not going to make it. So whenever you mentally move too far ahead, you are not only carrying the load of the present moment, but you're doubling or tripling your exertion because you have to carry the load of tomorrow as well. And that rightfully causes you to feel overloaded because your brain goes, I just can't take this, I don't have an overview anymore, it just feels unbearable, I'm either gonna quit now or lose it completely. The sad thing is you would have probably been fine if you had just focused on what is right in front of you. You have to recognize that your mind gives up long before your body or capabilities do. So because of that, you have to learn to bullshit, or I suppose a nicer word would be to manipulate your brain a little bit so that you can move beyond your limiting thoughts. We've all heard of the amazing power of staying in the present moment. I mean, Eckhart Tolle even wrote that wonderful book, The Power of Now, on it. And it is really valuable. And if you've ever managed to be in the present moment, you know what kind of relief it gives you. Now, this is easier said than done. I mean, when we go into yoga or meditation, there's always the prompt to go back to your breath. And this helps to stay in the present moment for a moment, but I've found as soon as I get back into the world and have to take action, then that goes out the door. Now, what helps me to this day is a simple story that I once heard. Unfortunately, I've got no idea where I heard it from, and I quickly want to share it with you. A young man enters the military and he starts his training. And in the beginning, he's super amped and full of power, and he's looking forward to the physical and the mental challenge of it all, and everything goes really well. But as the weeks drag on and the training gets more intense and more difficult, he starts to feel less and less motivated, and he feels the energy and drive draining out of him. He starts to question why he is even putting himself through all this torture, and he longs for his warm bed, his comfortable home, and his loving and supportive family. So he phones his dad. Tring, tring. And he complains about the difficult environment and circumstances and the sometimes inhumane treatment that they have to go through. And he tells his dad, you know what, I gave it a really good go, and I just feel like this isn't for me. You know, I feel like I should pursue something else, and I'm ready to come home. So the dad listens to his complaints, and he acknowledges his suffering, and he understands completely. And then he gently says, you know what, why don't you hold on for just one more week? After that, he can quit, and there will be no shame attached to it. The son considers it, and he agrees because, I mean, what's one more week? He can go for another week. So he agrees to it, and he pushes through another week. Then halfway into the next week, the son phones his dad again, and he has the same complaints, and he's like, you know, I gave it a go, but I'm really tired. I want to come home now. So again, the dad patiently listens and understands. And then he says to him, well, you know, you made it through last week. How about you try just one more week? And then you can quit. So again, the son agrees, and he goes through another week. Then he phones his dad again, and again the same scenario plays out. Now, this continues for a couple of weeks until finally the son understands the father's wisdom and realizes that if he focuses only on the next week, it is a lot more bearable than focusing on all the months of training that still lay ahead. All he has to do is survive this week, and then next week he does the same. He continues like this until the day of his graduation, and on that day not only has he survived and he's laid the foundation for his career in the military, but he's also learned the valuable lesson of redirecting his focus to short-term goals instead of focusing on the long road ahead and having to carry all of that on his mental shoulders. When we focus on the long road ahead, it feels impossible when we compare it to the energy we have in store today. But when we break it down, it becomes a manageable mental process. We can actually see ourselves succeeding, and we feel that we can accept this challenge. And also, of course, it gives you the benefit of a portfolio of success. If you would only place your experience of success on reaching your end goal, then you don't have anything to fall back on to fuel you in times when it gets hard. But if you have this portfolio of success, you can look back and you can say, listen, at that point, I felt like I couldn't take one more step, but I did. So I'm capable to take another step now as well. If you take it in stages, each stage gives you evidence that you are able to endure, persevere, and reach targets. I have since heard many versions of the story, especially from Navy SEALs or people who have been in extremely intense and difficult situations and circumstances. David Goggins even goes as far as to break it down into seconds. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, you are always 1 second away from quitting. So decide now to go for one more second. If you want to hear it from him, you can check out the video here, or I'll also leave the link in the description box down below. It is great and very important to have a vision and to know where you're going, but it is also really important to cultivate the ability to break it down into manageable bites. Looking at the long road ahead will drain you from the energy that was allocated for today. And this applies to absolutely everything in life. If you are sitting in a job that you hate right now, but you don't have the resources or the option to quit, focus on just making it through today. And if today feels like a stretch, then focus on making it through the next hour or the next half an hour or the next 15 minutes. If you're in the gym and you want to do 20 reps of some exercise, but you're already shaking and crumbling at the 6th rep, then just focus on doing 8. And once you reach 8, focus on doing 10. And once you reach 10, focus on getting to 12. And continue to do that until you're done. When you're going for a run and those last 2 kilometers feel like it's impossible for you to make, then just focus on getting to that next garbage bin next to the road. And once you reach that, focus on the next driveway. And when you reach that, you focus on the next tree. And again, you continue to create these short objectives until you're finished. When you're studying, don't focus on the whole book that you have to get through. Focus on the next 2 pages. Once you've done that, you focus on the next 2. When you have a scary or difficult health problem or procedure that's ahead, just focus on the next step. Just focus on surviving today. And then tomorrow you do it again, and the day thereafter you do it again. When you feel like life is not worth living anymore, just give it one more day. And then tomorrow, give it one more day. You never know, the next day might give you a new perspective. I believe the ability to break down difficult situations into small pieces and then focusing on that next piece only is an amazing skill to have, and it will make you an amazing force, and it will also take you to levels you never thought were possible for you. Don't allow anything within you to go to waste. Always push just a little further and use up as much of the stored potential within you as possible. While we are here in this life and in this world, even if we don't really know what we are doing here, we might as well choose to live it to the ultimate. That's it from me for today. As always, stay tuned for the bloopers. I hope that this episode gave you hope and the ability to just survive for one more day, one more hour, one more minute, or one more second. Please keep going. Give yourself and those around you who love you that gift. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you like this video, you know what to do. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And most important of all, always remember to live an empowered life. I'll catch you in the next one. In episode 22, I told you the 3 feet. The 3 feet from gold. No. Gonna be a ride. One young man's. That's not even plural for man. You see what I'm dealing with here? And excited for the mental and physical. Mental and physical.